Katsina families turn to eating leaves as economic hardship bites harder. Jigawa flood death toll rises to 30. Thousands left homeless. NLC slams federal government for intimidating labor leaders as Ajaero defies police invitation, reschedules meeting to August 29. Manhunt in Nairobi, a suspected serial killer escapes police custody. Good evening and thank you very much for joining us on Trust TV's News Hour. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. We begin in Katsina as the cost of living crisis continues to devastate families and communities across the country. Residents of Katsina are now resorting to eating what is locally known as tafasa and other grasses to survive the current economic hardship in the country. Now, it has become increasingly difficult for most families to survive the cost of living as they move from bush to bush in search of some of these leaves to sustain their daily livelihood. Abdullahi Ahmed followed some of these families in their search for these leaves or life-sustaining plants and reports on their plight.
This is the peak of hunger and economic starvation in Katsina. Families here often go to bed on empty stomachs or with little or nothing to eat as food, while many are not sure where their next meal will come from. The cooked cassia tora leaves, locally known as tafasa, is mixed with powdered groundnut cake, otherwise known as kuli kuli, or in the alternative mixed with corn powder, cooked as in what is locally known as dambu before serving. However, necessity, they say, is the mother of invention. Most families are now forced to eat the leaves without the mixture of any ingredient, just to put body and soul together or go to bed on empty stomach.
Cassia tora, locally known as tafasa, mostly grows in a very unhygienic environment. That notwithstanding, some people have no choice because from what we pick, we eat and sell the remaining in order to get transport fare to come back the next day and search for more. This is our only means of livelihood and we don't regret it because some years back we were comfortable. If we are poor today, it is because of bad governance.
Locally known as tafasa.
This is exactly what we have been telling our leaders. Even when we participated in the End Bad Governance protest, that you don't need to be told that there is hunger in the land. With all our abundant natural resources, are you saying Nigeria is a poor country? All we are asking is for improved security and access to affordable food.
Many families are becoming more malnourished, vulnerable, and potential recruits to bandits and other criminal elements, which is a dangerous situation for the continued existence of a peaceful society like Nigeria. If you people don't know, let me tell you that people are dying from hunger in their numbers and on a daily basis. Mr. President said he has declared state of emergency on hunger. But since then, what happened? What are the state governors doing? Just waiting to receive allocations from the center? No. That's unacceptable. If really our leaders are patriotic, they should address hunger and insecurity to save Nigeria from imminent collapse. Hunger can lead to anarchy, which may endanger its corporate existence as a single entity.
If you people don't know, let me tell you, people are dying of hunger in their numbers and on daily basis. Mr. President said he has declared state of emergency on hunger, but since then, what happened? What are the state governors doing? Just waiting to receive allocations from the center? No, that is not acceptable.
These children open the firing, scorching sun on their vulnerability to criminal elements, to spend hours here on daily basis picking cassia tora plants and go back in the evening, keeping aside school, which to them is no longer a priority. According to these children, how to survive the current economic crunch is number 1, 2, and 3 priorities, and derive no pleasure out of eating from the leaves or other grasses, saying they prefer it than resorting to street begging, which is no longer lucrative, or engaging in any act capable of tarnishing their image. According to National Bureau of Statistics Multidimensional Poverty Index 2022, Katsina State had a poverty rate of 72.70%. In contrast, over 7 million out of 10.2 million inhabitants are poor, depriving households the economic accessibility to nutritious food, quality health care, water and sanitation, among many others. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
A rather disturbing turn of events there unfolding in Katsina and in other parts of the country. In other news, health experts are sounding the alarm over the rising cases of malnourished children across Nigeria, with the northeast region being particularly affected. In Bauchi State, reports suggest that many households are on the brink of falling victim to this growing crisis, driven by the worsening economic condition in the country. In this report, Trust TV's Adamu Imam investigates how these households are striving to avoid malnutrition despite the soaring cost of essential commodities.
According to a report by the United Nations Children's Fund UNICEF, there is high number of malnourished children in Nigeria, hence the need for concerted effort by all stakeholders to address the menace. As part of addressing the menace, parents in Bauchi State are urging the government to fix the hunger in the land through viable economic policies that will revamp the economy. It is always a struggle to feed the family, so if we are unlucky to get them, we exercise patience and think of other ways to get food. I have 2 wives and 3 kids, apart from those that have married and left the house. These are some of them. The younger one just recovered from illness. The price of foodstuff has multiplied and put us in a very difficult situation. Our husbands go out for menial jobs on daily basis, but unfortunately, some days they come back empty-handed. On days like that, we do understand and pray for God's intervention. I have 1 wife with 5 children. Honestly, my salary is nothing to write home about, because as soon as I buy a little quantity of food, everything is gone. I decided to remove my children from private to government school so that we can save a little money to feed them. We are appealing to the authorities to improve government schools within our community. If you go behind our houses, there used to be a green plant called tafasa. It is no longer there because people are now using it as food. We have never experienced this before. Getting 3 square meals a day is no longer in our menu because we only eat once or twice. I can't recall when we eat 3 times a day in our home. As I'm talking to you now, that leaf has become hot cake in our markets. Experts are calling for a strategic policy shift by government at all levels to improve the living standards of Nigerians who have been bedeviled by multidimensional poverty in Nigeria. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
At least 30 people have been killed and 9,366 others displaced, while 7,379 hectares of land has been ravaged by floods across Jigawa State. Additionally, 4,699 households have been affected by the flooding. The Nigerian Meteorological Agency had predicted that Jigawa State would be among the states to experience severe flooding this time of the year, affecting 18 local government areas. The Executive Secretary of the Jigawa State Emergency Management Agency, Haruna Mairiga, stated that the state government is providing food and medication to those affected by the flooding, which are being distributed to internally displaced persons across the state. Meriga also reported that 2 children had died from the incident, while others have been infected with diarrhea at the Yanduna Primary School IDP camp in Miga local government area and Ajaero local government area of the state. He also added that the local government emergency committees are actively working to assist victims of the flooding.
Of the palliative we are distributing. That is why we are going local government to local government. We'll see, just to see how IDPs are being cared for. That is why we are following local government by local government to see the IDPs, how are they being catered for. The complaints we receive from this one is that the people that are not even be inflicted with the havoc, they are coming to benefit from their share.
We have been severely affected by the flood. Our husbands have tried their best to get us out of the flood-prone areas, but all to no avail. We have spent 3 days in this place, so we are hungry. We know that the government said they will send food to us, so we are appealing that government officials should kindly avoid intermediaries and hand over the food to us. We have resigned to fate that this was destined to happen. We are living in this school with our children at the moment, so we thank the state governor and we pray that God will uplift him and increase his wealth.
We experience flood every year and it usually starts from my house. We are calling on the governor to assist us because we know he is a people-friendly governor who has a listening ears.
On the security front, troops of the Nigerian multinational joint task force deployed to Sector 3 in Monguno in collaboration with the intelligence operatives and the civilian joint task force have intercepted a Boko Haram and ISWAP logistic supply syndicate in the Kauya market in Monguno area. According to a statement issued by the Chief Military Information Officer of the multinational joint task force, Jamina Chad, Lieutenant Colonel Olani Oshoba, on Tuesday, the syndicate members identified as Modugana, Momman Saleh and Babagana Mukhtar were apprehended when en route to deliver supplies to the terrorists in their enclaves. The suspects, who confessed to being key logistics providers for the terrorist group, were found in possession of a cache of items intended for the insurgents. The members of the syndicate are currently undergoing intense interrogation to gather further intelligence that possibly could lead to more arrest and dismantling of the terrorist logistics supply network in the Lake Chad region. The Nigerian military has announced the loss of 4 personnel after troops of Operation Hadarin Daji encountered an ambush by terrorists in the Barchaka Kuriya forest area of Gudu local government area in Sokoto state. The incident reportedly occurred on August 10 at around 11:45 p.m. near the border with Niger Republic. In a statement released on Monday in Abuja, the Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, confirmed that during the firefight, several troops were killed and weapons and ammunition were recovered. The statement further revealed that the bodies of the slain terrorists indicated that they were members of a terror group from Niger Republic known as Lakurawa. While some members of the group managed to escape into Niger Republic, the Nigerian troops are in pursuit and determined to track them down and eliminate the threat, according to the spokesman. In other news, the president of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Ajaero, has failed to appear before the Nigerian Police Force for an interview scheduled for this Tuesday regarding allegations relating to terrorism financing. However, the president of the NLC has committed to honoring the invitation next week on Wednesday, August 29, 2024, citing prior engagements. The Nigerian police has summoned Ajaero on Monday around 6 p.m. for questioning over alleged links to terrorism financing, cybercrime, and other accusations. The This was communicated in a letter from the Office of the Deputy Commissioner of Police Intelligence Response Team at the Department of Force Intelligence. The letter, signed by Assistant Commissioner of Police Adamu Muazu, warned that failure to comply with the invitation would lead to arrest. In response, Ajaero, through a letter written by his lawyer from Falana Chambers, expressed his willingness to address all questions posed by the police during the interview. The letter, signed by Samuel Ogala on behalf of the principal partner of the Chambers, also requested details of the allegations leveled against the NLC President. In a related development, the Nigerian Labour Congress has instructed its members and all workers across the country to shut down the economy if the police proceed with the arrest of its president, Ajaero. This directive comes in response to the police invitation to Ajaero over allegations of terrorism financing. In reaction to the situation, the NLC convened an emergency National Executive Council meeting at the Labour House in Abuja, where it resolved to formally request an extension of time from the police to allow the union to consult with its legal team. Speaking at the emergency NEC meeting, NLC Deputy President Kabiru Adosani emphasized that the invitation to Ajaero is in effect an invitation to all workers, underscoring the union's unified stance on the matter.
But we believe that we need an extension of time after consultation with our lawyers, because this invitation was extended to the Congress President yesterday and asked to report at the police by 10 a.m. today. So we are already working with our lawyers to look for extension of time. But this does not legitimize the charges by the Nigerian police to the Congress leadership. And secondly, we resolve that in an event our Congress President was arrested or detained at any moment, we put our appellate on red alert to mobilize our membership across the country, that all workers in this country should down-tool their services. This is the resolution.
Meanwhile, the Nigerian Labour Congress has described the police summons issued by the Force Criminal Investigation Department, which alleges that the NLC President, Ajaero, is involved in terrorism financing, as politically motivated. Reacting to the summons, a spokesperson from the NLC vowed that the union would pursue all its legal avenues to clear its name from what it sees as a smear campaign designed to tarnish the reputation of the labor movement.
While vehemently denying the allegations, the spokesman of the union, Benson Upah, described them as baseless and politically motivated. Upah maintained that given the NLC's role as a peaceful advocate for workers' rights, such allegations, if not properly addressed, will dent the image of the entire workforce of the country.
We heard about that invitation through the social media, and we are as scandalized and embarrassed as any reasonable Nigerian can feel. This is coming as part of the process of intimidation.
A social activist, Eze Onyekpere, says the action of the police has taken a rather confusing turn from the initial saga between the labor union and the police.
It's a rather unfortunate situation, because if you recall, the NLC did not take part or did not overtly support the last N-band governors' protest, because they had just come out of negotiations on the minimum wage. So it's a little bit of a surprise that after that, the NLC alleged that their office was ransacked. And it appeared to be an invitation to embarrass, because normally if you're inviting somebody, you could of course drop a letter with him. It's only when he fails to appear that you make it public or go to order for, get a warrant for his arrest so that you could bring him in to interview him.
Meanwhile, the NLC President Ajaero has asked for more time to engage his lawyers before honoring the invitation.
Comrade Ajaero will honor the invitation as a law-abiding citizen from a law-abiding organization, and that his honoring the invitation should not be construed as an acceptance of guilt. In the event anything untoward happens to Joe Ajaero or any executive or any member of the Congress, that Congress will respond by mobilizing its members for a major national strike.
With the union vowing to defend its reputation and citizens' right, Nigerians are waiting for the charges to be filed as well as how the entire situation unfolds. Sumaya Abubakar, Trust TV News, Abuja.
In line with his commitment to reducing the cost of governance, the President of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has approved an audit of Nigeria's delegation to COP28 in the United Arab Emirates last year. Ajuri Ngilali, the special presidential envoy on climate action, disclosed this to journalists at the State House in Abuja on Tuesday. Chief Ngilali stated that his office, in collaboration with the National Council on Climate Change, has established a portal to ensure transparent documentation of all delegation members from various ministries, departments and agencies, and even the legislative branch. Acknowledging that there was deliberate misinformation about the size of last year's delegation, Ngilale admitted that some government officials who had no legitimate reason to attend the meeting were accompanied by significant delegations. He also said the audit aims to address these concerns and help promote accountability.
So ahead of COP29, we have resolved and concluded that there will be no showcase pavilion as part of the federal government of Nigeria's cost reduction efforts. We recognize that what can be achieved in a showcase pavilion can be achieved in a far more economically efficient mode by effectively utilizing the delegation office that is on site within the conference complex. And this we will do. We have found that by taking that option, the nearly $500,000 showcase pavilion that was purchased for last year's COP28 will no longer be an item of expenditure in COP29.
You're watching the news hour on Trust TV. Still to come. Nigeria edging closer to safer internet services. Details of this and many more stories up ahead after the break. Welcome back to the news. Thank you most kindly for staying with us. Let's take another look at our top stories. Katsina families turn to eating leaves as Nigeria's economic hardship deepens. Jigawa flood death toll rises to 30 as thousands are left displaced. The Daily Trust Foundation is training 20 journalists from various parts of the northeastern region on budget tracking and investigation. The workshop, taking place in Gombe State and supported by the MacArthur Foundation, aims to equip journalists in the region with essential skills related to budget preparation, the budget cycle, sources of revenue and expenditure, as well as tracking for accountability. Here's the report.
In a remark, the chairman, Daily Trust Foundation, Bill Yabala, expressed optimism that the training would equip journalists with the basic knowledge of data mining and analysis in order to enable them hold government at subnational levels accountable while aiming to bring good governance to the doorsteps of the masses.
It's clear we are here to conduct training that MacArthur has made some grant for us towards teaching journalists or improving the skills of journalists towards budget tracking. That's what we have gone about 4 other zones in Nigeria, and this is the 5th zone that we are, so that we can assist journalists to track the budget.
While commending Daily Trust and MacArthur Foundation for the training, the Gombe State Commissioner of Information and Culture, Mijinyawa Tilde, said the issue of budget tracking is a key component of good governance.
Journalism, as well as we all know, plays a vital role in ensuring transparency and accountability in governance. In democracy like ours, the ability of the press to scrutinize public expenditure and track budget implementation is not just a right, but a responsibility. Though diligent reporting, journalists can shed light on the working of government highlight areas of concern, and foster informed citizenry.
Participants noted that the budget training was imperative for them as it will help them better report issues around budgeting.
In situation where journalists are trying to do kind of investigative journalism, like they said, maybe after this break, they are going to take us through data mining, where a journalist can source for additional information to back up his investigative reporting skills.
While this training is one of the most important training I have ever attended, budget tracking training is actually one of those training needed for journalists to look at the current situation we are. And I must commend at the same time Daily Trust Foundation and of course the Donors MacArthur Foundation for organizing this training for the journalists in the northeastern part of the country.
The training has been really productive. You know, as a journalist, we are supposed to hold our leaders accountable since we are voicing the voice of the voiceless.
The 3-day training on budget tracking is expected to help journalists track budget for transparency.
In other news, the need for media organizations to refocus their attention on reporting women's health has been strongly emphasized, particularly across Kano State. At a media parley aimed at strengthening accountability and progress in Kano, experts highlighted the urgent need for a shift in approach to reporting on women's health issues. Trust TV's correspondent Idris Jibril was there and filed in this report.
Organized by the Kano State-led Accountability Mechanism, with the support from Pathfinder International, this media interactive meeting is geared toward encouraging journalists to report issues related to women's health across Kano State by holding the government and relevant agencies accountable.
Really holding people accountable in Nigeria is difficult. Like, since I came to office, nobody holds me accountable. Even I'm happy that somebody from the house is around. They just say I should send mid-year performance, and that's all.
Over the years, government and non-governmental organizations have been working to find a lasting solution to women's related issues, which are believed to be poorly or completely underreported by the media. Hence, these experts believed that the need for change in approach is necessary.
Where exactly are we? Perhaps in strengthening this and then measuring progress, we need to also look at, are we really doing the right thing? One of the things is changing mindset, changing approach. One of the approaches is this: the monitor, review, and act. Is this still the same? Is it still holding us accountable?
There's always a sad story looking at our indices of maternal mortality and perinatal mortality. So it's very crucial for us to have this kind of parley, because I think even though there are so many strategies in place that really accounts for all what is happening, even the poor indices, but then I think this is another avenue for us to see how we are going to brainstorm and have more ideas to strengthen the women's health, especially the girls' aspect.
According to the Kano State-led Accountability Mechanism, the problem of funding, training and manpower are some of the issues that needs to be addressed despite pocket of achievements recorded within the last couple of years.
There are a lot of barriers, if we look at it, that constrain women to access that contraceptives as they were. So these barriers can be education, can be lack of capitals, economic aspects, a lot of things. So A360 doesn't just focus on that contraceptives. We look at how we can support women to break those barriers.
While the media is expected to redouble its efforts toward reporting women's health, experts also promise to collaborate with journalists in providing data that will aid the work of the media in strengthening their commitments. Idris Jubrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
To Adamawa State, where in observance of the 2024 World Humanitarian Day, the United Nations, in partnership with the Adamawa State government, has made an urgent call for enhanced protection of aid workers. Speaking at an event, United Nations President and Humanitarian Coordinator Mohammed Fall alongside the governor of Adamawa State, Ahmadu Fintri, emphasized the growing risks faced by those delivering vital aid in conflict regions and disaster-stricken areas. They stressed the need for stronger measures to ensure the safety and security of these humanitarian heroes whose efforts are crucial in alleviating the suffering of vulnerable populations. Gibson Swadigo reports from Yola.
According to the 2024 report on the protection of civilians in armed conflict, over 4,500 civilians lost their lives due to ongoing conflict in northeast Nigeria in 2023. This alarming statistic is part of a global trend that saw 288 workers killed across 33 countries last year, making 2024 as the deadliest year on record for the humanitarian community. In northeast Nigeria alone, 48 workers were killed, 6 were kidnapped, and 8 were wounded. During the World Humanitarian Day commemoration, Adamawa State Governor Ahmadu Fintri, represented by his deputy Professor Kaleta Bofarauta, called for sustained efforts and support for finding durable solutions for displaced persons. He emphasized the importance of ensuring that all humanitarian operations adhere to both national and international laws to better protect those who risk their lives to provide aid.
As a state, we've had our own share of conflicts, we've had our own share of violent activities, we've had our own share of displacements, and we've had our own share of our women, men, children killed in violent conflicts. The gaps are still there, but as a state, we are also making a lot of efforts to ensure that the conflict we went through, that we come to a position where humanity prevails.
At the event, United Nations Resident and Humanitarian Coordinator Mohammed M. Fall called on the government, civil society, national and international non-governmental organizations, the private sector, and UN agencies to unite in addressing the immediate needs of internally displaced persons. He emphasized the importance of collaborative efforts to find lasting solutions to the challenges faced by these vulnerable populations, urging all stakeholders to work together to alleviate their suffering and restore their dignity.
It is also an opportunity to remind the world our collective responsibility and stand in solidarity with and support people who have fallen victims to conflict and disaster.
He urged partners, with government taking the lead, to tackle the severe food insecurity and malnutrition plowing Borno, Adamawa, and Yobe states. As the lean season approaches, 4.8 million people are projected to face food insecurity, with 230,000 children at the risk of life-threatening severe acute malnutrition. He stressed the urgency of coordinated action to address these critical issues and prevent further deterioration of the humanitarian crisis in these regions.
Malnutrition don't come alone. It comes with an enormous cost on children's physical, cognitive, and intellectual development. And this is something that follows them through all the life cycle.
This year's World Humanitarian Day theme pays tribute to humanitarian workers and the people they served and calls on global leaders to protect them. Gibson Adugu, Trust TV News, Yola.
Now, across the country, schools have been celebrating the culmination of the academic year by honoring the achievements of their students and staff. These events, rich in history and culture, are a testament to the hard work and dedication poured into education throughout the year. In this spirit, Andel Academy marked the end of its 2023-2024 academic session with a grand celebration recognizing outstanding students, dedicated parents, and other key contributors. Let's take a closer look at how the festivities unfolded as reported by Trust TV's Noel Sampson.
Andel Academy, a co-educational day and boarding school in Kamu, Abuja, is committed to delivering quality education while fostering excellence in academics, arts, and sports. During its 2023-2024 graduation ceremony, the school proudly showcased its remarkable achievements over the past year, solidifying its reputation as a premier institution. The event highlighted Andel's commitment to nurturing well-rounded students, making it a top choice for parents seeking the best educational environment for their children.
International affiliation. A significant milestone this year has been our affiliation with the Duke of Edinburgh Award Body. This award is a prestigious international program, and it is now part of our curriculum, offering our students opportunities for personal development, leadership, and community service on a global scale. Please can we give our school a round of applause.
Today, we are facing the near collapse of our educational standard and moral values, almost at all levels of our society. Education means, as we all know, millions of our children are out of school and wandering about without visible future, while most of the governments put little effort and resources to address the situation.
The graduation ceremony at Andel Academy was filled with memorable moments, including vibrant performances by students from various classes, heartfelt appreciation extended to parents, and the presentation of awards to the graduating students. These highlights not only celebrated the students' accomplishments, but also underscored the strong sense of community and excellence that defines the school.
President Bola Tinubu's approval for a request from the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited to utilize the 2023 final dividends due to the Federation for Petroleum Subsidy payments has caused disquiet in the polity as Nigerians express mixed feelings about the decision vis-a-vis its impact on the economy. The cable reported on Monday that the president has also sanctioned the suspension of 2024 interim dividends to the Federation to bolster NNPC Limited's cash flow. Additionally, the NNPCL has informed the president that it will be unable to remit taxes and royalties to the Federation account for the time being due to the financial strain caused by the subsidy payments. Trust TV's Sagir Ibrahim unpacks the fuel subsidy regime saga in this explainer.
In his inaugural address on May 29, 2023, on the government. However, this move has led to what many have described as increased hardship for Nigerians, contributing to rising prices for goods and services. Well, recently, Nigerians have been contending with price fluctuations, which have led to increased pump prices and added to inflationary pressures in the economy. Successive governments, including military regimes, have faced opposition to the increase of fuel price and even subsidy removal. The Goodluck Jonathan administration, for instance, attempted to remove subsidy payments in 2012, raising fuel prices from 65 naira per litre to 141 naira per litre, a 116.92% increase. The Jonathan administration later yielded to pressure, reducing the pump price of PMS from 141 naira to 97 naira per litre, marking a 31.21% drop. In 2015, President Jonathan further reduced the price of PMS from 97 naira to 87 naira per litre, an additional 10.31% decrease. Well, in 2016, with the arrival of President Muhammadu Buhari, the price of PMS increased from 87 naira per litre to 145 naira per litre, a 66.67% jump. This increase was a response to global oil market fluctuations, which impacted the transportation cost at the time. The Buhari administration later raised the PMS price to 195 naira per litre, a 124% increase from the initial 87 naira per litre. Amidst controversy over the federal government stopping subsidy payments in June 2023, the PMS price in Nigeria saw a significant jump from 195 naira per litre to 557 naira per litre after President Tinubu announced its removal during his inauguration address, an increase of 185.6%
from the previous administration's price. The price later rose to 617 naira per litre later in the year 2023. The Tinubu administration has been embroiled in controversy, with stakeholders continually accusing the federal government of paying subsidies through the back door, a claim it has denied. However, reports regarding the President's directive to the NNPC Limited on utilizing the 2023 dividends due to the Federation for subsidy payments have been denied by the NNPC Limited. However, this decision comes amidst ongoing petrol shortages in the country, which is worsening transport woes for Nigerians. Sagar Ibrahim there with a recap of Nigeria's subsidy regime stories as well as developments. Well, let's join Yusuf Akogu, who is standing by to bring us up to date with the latest in business.
Welcome to Business News. I am Yusuf Akogu. Deposit Money Banks has grown their demand deposit by 23.6% to 32.988 trillion naira in the first half of the year, from 26.688 trillion naira at the end of 2023. Analysis from the latest money and credit report of the CBN showed that the total demand deposit in the first quarter of the year ended March stood at 28.862 trillion naira, indicating 8.1% increase. In the second quarter of the year, the bank's deposit increased by 14.3%. The audited report and regulatory filings by commercial banks and their holding companies on the stock exchange, NJS, show that the total deposit rose by 18.3% to 136 trillion naira from 115 trillion naira recorded in 2023. The audited report also showed that the total deposit of the listed banks and bank holdcos rose by 63% to 115 trillion naira in 2023 from 17.5 trillion naira in 2022. Dangote Refinery is expected to achieve first delivery of refined premium motor spirit PMS to the Nigerian market by September. The Committee on Crude Sales in Naira said that this is coming after several challenges reported by the management of Dangote Industries Limited. Among them is alleged effort of the international oil companies to frustrate crude supply to its 650,000 barrels capacity refinery. The Executive Chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Zach Adedeji, who spoke at the Implementation Committee on the transition to crude oil sales in Naira, reported that the first PMS delivery from Dangote is expected next month under existing agreements. Equities market halt negative trend on Tuesday as investors record marginal gains today. Let's look at the key drivers there. Len Africa leading that table there, 9.94% to close at 3 naira and 87 kobo per share. Of course, Oando also gained 9.90% to close at 43 naira and 30 kobo per share. There, of course, Coty is also there as well, 9.85% to close at 2 naira and 90 kobo per share. Of course, this has pushed up the market marginally by 0.05%. Volume of traded over a billion. Volume of shares were traded today, valued at 7.69 billion naira in a list of 8,295 lead exchange hands among investors. Of course, the top trading equities in terms of volume, Jais Bank Nigeria PLC lead at table 65.13 million shares traded. Sterling Bank Nigerian PLC 53.943 million shares. Of course, International Brewery 28.410 million shares traded today. Of course, some equities ended on the losing side of the market. Thomas Ward lead at table 9.71% to close at 1 naira and 58 kobo per share. Omatech also there as well, 6.85% to close at 68 kobo per share. Of course, TPLC, a waste management company based in Port Harcourt, closed downward as well, 4.44% to close at 2 naira and 15 kobo per share there. And that's the highlight of stock trading as it went down this Tuesday on the floor of NGS. Let's see the global stock market and exchange rate data for today. Oil prices steady on Tuesday after falling for 2 straight sessions as Israel accepts a proposal to tackle disagreement blocking a ceasefire deal in Gaza east supply concerns, while China's economic weakness continues to weigh on demand outlook. At the London market, Brent crude sells for $77 per barrel. For the OPEC basket, price steadies at $79 per barrel. And that's business. I am Yusuf Akugu.
Let's turn our attention to developments on the international scene. And Kenyan police on Tuesday launched a major manhunt after a man they claim has confessed to murdering and dismembering 42 women escaped from a Nairobi police cell along with a dozen other detainees. Collins Jumaisi, age 33, described by the police as a, quote, vampire and psychopath, was arrested last month after the horrific discovery of mutilated bodies in a garbage dump in a slum of the Kenyan capital. Kenyan police spokesperson Resila Oyango said, quote, investigations have been launched and a major security operation is underway to get the 13 suspects back in custody. The police also said in a separate statement that they discovered the breakout when officers made a routine visit to the police station cells at around 5 a.m. to serve the prisoners their breakfast. And the police station is located in the upmarket Nairobi district of Gigiri, home to the regional headquarters of the United Nations and numerous other embassies. It is the second time in barely 6 months that a suspect in a high-profile case has escaped from police custody.
Today, August 20th, 2024, morning hours, there was an incident of prisoners' escape that happened at Gikiri police station where we are as at now. 13 prisoners escaped from the cells, among them 12 Eritrean nationals who were arrested for being illegally in Kenya, and one male murder suspect, namely Collins Chumaisi Kalusha, who is connected with the Kware murder incident. Our preliminary investigation indicated that the escape was aided by insiders, considering that officers were deployed accordingly to guard the station.
All right, it's time now for some sports update. Adeni Ajishafe has the latest.
As part of efforts to develop sport in Nigeria, a marathon event is to be held in Ajaero, Lagos, to discover talent and also create awareness on the need to embrace the long-distance race sport. Organizers of the maiden Ajaero City Youth Marathon have fixed 30th November as date for the race that will attract over 1,000 runners and para-runners who have already secured approval and endorsement from stakeholders. At a press conference to herald the 10-kilometer race, project lead of the race, who doubled as Youth Secretary, National Youth Council of Nigeria, Ajaero fellow the local government area, Isaac Moses, explained that the race will begin with a corporate race on 22 November, while the main race will take place on 30th November 2024. Moses said the marathon will begin at Maracana Stadium and terminate at the sports ground of Nigeria Army Signals Barracks.
Touch with the Lagos State Sports Commission to provide technical oversight, aside the fact that we have the Ajaero Fellow Sports Council, but of course the Lagos State Sports Commission will be providing that oversight as well. And then registration is ongoing. We're using both the click and brick model, both online and offline. So people that are not able to have access to digital resource online to do the registration online, we have our volunteers that are doing community activations, working with community structures as well to ensure that they get people registered.
Coordinator of National Youth Council of Nigeria and Ajaero fellow in local government area of Lagos State, Isaac Omoleye, explained that the marathon has the theme creating a peaceful, eco-friendly environment for an expanded youth engagement through sport.
Yeah, we could actually build peace and also promote synergy within the community as a whole. This is why we are having it like a consortium of a partnership, bringing various organizations, various youths together to actually collaborate for one purpose.
A stakeholder, Lawal Ademola, believes the race will help showcase talent in the country and also provide a platform for them to excel in the sport.
As we all know, Ajaero as a community or a local government with talented youth and humans in terms of football, to music, movies as well.
we choose not to go into football as well. The marathon, it's what is also trending in world of sports now, because we have more athletes in the world right now to showcase, to bring more of our youth to showcase their talent. That is why we choose to venture into marathon.
The marathon event's media head also gave an insight into what the organizer expect from the race.
So if we cannot engage the youth at this point in time, it's going to be very disastrous for the community and Lagos at large. So we're using this platform to see how we can engage the youth and try to discover talent in the marathon. Those that love marathon or those that love racing, we are going to discover talent and harness the talent to prepare them for bigger platforms like Lagos City Marathon and some other international marathons all over the world.
Lagos State Sports Commission will provide technical oversight, while the military, police, federal road safety 1.5-kilometer corporate VIP race will be flagged off by the chairman of the Felodu Local Council Development Area, Felodu Local Government Area, Honorable Fatai Ayola, receiving them at the council headquarters. That's Sport News. I'm Adeni Ajishafe.
And that is our package for you on the News Hour tonight. Do well to follow us across our social media platforms to stay in touch. Also visit our website, trusttv.com, for the latest news, documentaries, and a variety of programs. On behalf of the team, my name is Abdullahi Ahmed. Thank you for your time and good night.